Okay, we're going to cover stewing. I was really hoping that my laundry was going to be done so that the overalls would not be banging in the background like the braising video, but that just wasn't quite the case. It takes a long time to dry overalls. So this portion is going to go a lot faster. This video will be a lot shorter because it's really similar to braising. So now that you already know how to braise, stewing just has a little bit different of pre-preparation. So stewing would involve bite-sized pieces of meat or ground meat. And so the same thing, you basically want to sear or blanch the meat and veggies. I'm always going to go with the sear. I'm always going to be a fan of the Maillard reaction. And for this one, you use more liquid. So you have smaller pieces of meat, more liquid, but the same thing. You want to cover the pot and you want to simmer. So examples of this would be chili or beef stew. The preparation method is still the same. Also, when you are making chili or beef stew, it's going to be really important that you cook with the dry cooking method. Spices or vegetables, boiled onions are not going to taste the same as onions that have been sweated down or caramelized or just sweetened up in that dry cooking method. So the dry cooking develops flavor, and boiled things are not going to have the same flavor compounds and chemical reactions as that dry cooking method. I love my maman, but when it comes to her vegetable soup, it's a lot of boiled vegetables in tomato juice, and it just isn't that great. When it comes to chili, a really big tip that I have for you on chili. I'm really particular about eating other people's chili or ever ordering it out. And one of the reasons is because chili can act like a bomb in your stomach. And people that have issues with chili bothering their stomach, there's two different things going on there. The first one is when you add your spices to a water-based liquid, you do not extract the flavor compounds like an oil does. Remember temperature? Water doesn't get very hot, but oil gets really hot. And so chili powder, cumin powder, paprika, all of those things are going to extract and open up and release their flavor compounds. And so you get the good flavors in the oil. They'll also burn. If we remember, we talked about that in lesson 4. So you want to make sure that you don't add them too soon, but you want to add them enough at the end to cook them enough in the oil before you add your liquid so they do get that extraction. Your stomach is going to extract those spices. So if you put so much of it into tomato juice till you taste it like chili and then you eat it, you've eaten way too many spices and you're going to burp them and they're going to burn and it's just going to be too much. But if you cook them around in the oil, then it's going to have much better flavor and it's going to be easier on your stomach too. So there's my tip. So same kind of deal. Cut it down into uniform pieces, heat fat, saute it around. If you're going to thicken it, like if you're making a gumbo, then you might use a roux as a thickening agent. We're going to talk quite a bit more about a roux later on, but a roux is fat and flour used to thicken sauces or soups. And then you add your liquid. So if you do use a roux, make sure you stir it to prevent lumps, cover it, and then simmer it. Again, don't boil it for two reasons. Boiling can make the meat stringy and tough. Boiling can also cause something like this to scorch and burn on the bottom. And so make sure that you hold things properly, you cool things properly, and that you don't put a hot pot into a refrigerator because that is not safe for a lot of reasons. It'll grow bacteria. It'll heat the refrigerator up. It can even sour and turn gross, particularly if you have starches like potatoes.